Okay. How do we do that? A couple of different ways. One, there's the digital hand raise. And so at the bottom is Zoom. There's this little bar. One of the buttons is participants. That'll let you digitally raise your hand, and then I can just see the queue and go up and down that way. If you want to be on video, great. If you don't, totally understand that. Hate being on video myself, so I get it. And you can just ask via audio. If you want to put questions into the chat, you can ask that way, and I can answer those directly as well. And then if you're watching on any of the socials, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, you can leave a message in the comments, and I will get to that one as well. But yeah, everybody's got a marketing problem. That's one of the most interesting concepts of the entire thing, but always how it goes. Okay, anybody with the camera on? Question so far? Does anyone want to be brave? Sometimes you have to. Sometimes Rick. Oh, Rick, I thought you were there. Rick. Sometimes you have to like break the well on this. Like, just think of it as an AM call-in talk show. Have questions about art or photography marketing? Go. Yeah, sometimes it just you have to break the well, and then everybody will come in and start asking questions. But yeah, that's what we do in a nutshell. We, at the end of the day, like, no one really has a website problem, right? Like, every single solitary one of you has a attention problem. You need more eyeballs towards your art or your photography, and it's the biggest thing that you're struggling with. Jill, I like it. Took you a while to get there, but way to go, Jill. Thanks for being first. Someone's always got to go first. You'll need to unmute yourself, Jill. There's like a little.
Yep.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I think I just did.
Yeah.
Am I okay? So I don't know how ridiculous of a question this is, but so I have this great website. I have all this stuff out, and how does this how does this develop an audience? Is that something that I have to already have, or you can have all the social media, all the things out there, but if no one looks at it,
yes,
then it doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah. So you've had the website. Okay, fine. The website's great. How much work would you say you've done on marketing to get eyeballs to the website, to grow the socials, all that kind of stuff?
How much have I done? Well, I have not done a whole lot. I have sent out newsletters to my contact list, and they respond to my and with my webpage and everything in it, which they respond to. There's no place to sell on my webpage. I haven't really sold. I did two sales through my webpage, and one wasn't really a sale because I got a message through my webpage, and they most often come to my email, but I didn't check, and it was like several months later. So I was a little frustrated with myself.
Yeah. So the attention question, what you're asking is, it's just marketing, right? Like, I'm sure you've done a little bit over the years, but probably not consistently, on a week in, week out basis, and most conclusively not focusing on the high ROI techniques and tactics that you need to do to grow this type of a business. And that's essentially what we teach all year long. It's interesting because I keep getting more and more varieties of the question, well, how do I get attention? How do I find my audience and everything else? And it's like, it's just marketing, right? Like, that's it. None of you guys ever do it. You never do it. Artists like find it anathema, to a person. Like, they don't want to do it. There was 15th century France where the monarch contracted an artist and said, I'm just going to pay you to paint. And then we've all been told the story that that's a possibility, right? Like, it's not in today's day and age. You have to market yourself. And, very few people ever do it consistently. Like I said, very few people ever have the perspective on how long it takes to like get it going and get some momentum going and like build a decent list. And, the terrifying thing is, like, what are the alternatives right now, right? Like, all of the offline, normal, traditional, tried and true revenue sources are really taking a hit. Like, lots of galleries are closing. A lot of those galleries are not going to open back up. Once they do start opening back up, they're going to flip the terms in even more favorable in their fashion. Hey, we were doing a 50-50 split, but because there's no competition in town, let's do a 60-40, 70-30 split, right? And if you look at the show in the Thayer circuit, a lot of people have done well on that for years and years and years. But that's not going to come back anytime soon. We're going to be gun shy a little bit coming out of this. And it's like, the margins for making the show in the Thayer circuit work, they don't pencil when attendance is 20, 30, 40%, right? Like, the odds don't look as good. So you gotta put yourself in a position where you're marketing consistently. That's what we teach you to do all day long. you know, there's some basic fundamentals to running an art business. Okay. You need to be capturing emails all year long. We teach you how to do that. You need to be emailing those emails on a regular basis. We teach you how to do that, what type of text to use, what kind of ideas to use. You need to be having sales when the time is right. You need to understand the mechanics of how a sale works, how you hype it, how you promote it, how you tease it, how you actually launch it. What is the discount, the percentage off? What is the scarcity? How long till it ends? What to do to follow up prospective buyers during the course of that event? How to extend it after the fact? There's a whole process there that very few artists and photographers need to know how to do. And the most wonderful thing about a sale is there's always another one coming up. Like the easiest fundamental of this business is just regular marketing sale, regular marketing sale, regular marketing sale, regular marketing sale. And, you know, I usually get a lot of pushback. Well, I heard discounting my work cheapens it. There are two brands I'm aware of that do not ever discount their prices, Tiffany's and Louis Vuitton. Although someone told me recently Hermes too. So, you know, everybody in the world runs sales. It's human behavior. It's got nothing to do with the quality of the work, right? So I can guarantee you've never done any of those things. You need to learn how to do those things. Sort of the analogy I give is it's like trying to do 100 push-ups in one sitting. Like that's really, really hard to do, right? So you need to build up that set of marketing muscles. Once you have that set of marketing muscles, things start getting significantly easier. You'll be well over several $1,000s sold on your website for most folks at that point. And then it's time to get into Facebook and Instagram ads, and we teach you how to do that too. So the long and the short is like your audience is out there. You've probably been an artist your whole life. You've probably sold a tremendous amount of work. You're not someone that's wondering whether or not your work is good enough to sell. So for you, it is 100% marketing. You just need to do it and do it consistently.
Thank you.
Yeah. I know you got kind of a long-winded answer, but did you think that was what it was going to be?
Yeah, actually, I
Yeah.
think that was exactly true. And I'm just starting to get regular hours after a little bit of time of struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I was in my studio and devoting, I thought I would devote one day a week to marketing,
Yes.
which I have never really done. So
Yes. I would slowly try to ratchet up more and more and more out of you from there. But as a final, everyone always thinks like, well, how many hours a week is it going to take, right? And it's way less about how many hours a week you have to give it, and it's more about giving me those hours 52 weeks a year, which no one ever does. The consistency is the whole ball game. And you know, I laugh, but like the Zoom sessions like this that we have, and then I'll get into the rest of the questions as we finish it up with this. We take the whole customer base, okay, and we split it into threes. If you've not sold $2,000 on your website yet, you're in group one. If you sold between 2,000 and a much higher threshold, you're in group two. If you're way higher on this other threshold, it's a much smaller group. You're in the high level group. The sessions week in, week out are as much group therapy as they are training on the marketing, right? Is as much like, Jill, got to stay at it this week. You know, you can't take it off. We all have to do this consistently. There's no chance that you can quit right now, right? Like the group therapy and like the everyone just doing it together, especially because, you know, by and large, photographers and artists, concentric circles, creating art, marketing brain doesn't usually cross over too well. You know, it's a new skill set. So, yeah, that's part of it. We can teach you, Jill.
thank you.
We can teach you. You just need to give me those hours consistently. Okay, it's going to go Pauline, Joseph, Robert, and then I see the questions in the chat. I prioritize the hands, and then I will come back on all the ones in the chat. So don't worry, Joy, John, Holly, I'm seeing this. Okay. Pauline, you're up. Yeah, you'll have to hit the mic, Pauline. I'll let you know when you get it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm sorry I would have written you, but I have no idea how to do this.
Well, that's all good. That's all good.
This is my first one.
Yeah, video's the best.
I've been reading all your materials and watching the different former Zoom meetings, etc. And for me, I'm just used to years of one-on-one, and I feel so intimidated about taking the first step because photographing my own work seems very, again, intimidating. So would you, I know you all are more than willing to do the help us with our websites,
yes,
but I haven't even gotten to the point where I feel like I can photograph my own art. So
Yeah, you
what do
totally
we
can.
do?
So we have, this is like the rad thing about the fact that, what are we in? Are we year 7 or maybe even year 8 as a business? And we finally are to the point like where we have enough customers where you can really start leveraging the customer base. And so we have one gentleman who spent his life just photographing fine art for reproduction. He wrote a comprehensive article that starts with how you can do it with your iPhone, all the way down to professionally scanned, with an SLR, lighting, everything in between. April's going to put it in the chat. I'm going to email it to you after the fact. I would read that to start. You can 100% do it. But to your point, Pauline, I know if you've watched enough videos, you've seen me do this, but it's so important. What is the best way to sell art or photography? Trick question. Face to face, in person, how you've always done it. That will never change. Problem. Pauline is geographically fixed on this world, has to sleep, and is incapable of having 15 conversations concurrently. So you need a website, right? But what we're doing right now, my dear, is the in between the two, right? Like, do not underestimate how important for the near future and probably just life selling one-on-one or one-to-many on video like we are right now, face-to-face, person-to-person, right? Like, you can get all of your art up on the website. And I would say if you're presented with the option of booking a private art consultation with a prospective buyer via Zoom, or allowing them to check out on the website on their own, looking at your original behind you and assuming that your price points are probably high, I would say, Pauline, all I want you to do is just have as many Zoom chats with potential buyers as you can. Now, obviously, we need to work on throwing some of those people at your site, but I don't want to take away your mojo of the in-person sale in the slightest, right? Like, you've been smiling a lot, so I can tell you're a very, happy, outgoing, enthusiastic person. I would imagine if you get somebody on a one-to-one, it's usually the majority of the time it's game over. So I would play to those strengths, right? I would play to those strengths, but you're not trying to do that, right? No one's even told you to try to do that. One-on-one selling via Zoom is the future, not just of selling art and photography, but literally of just pretty much all commerce. And you're going to see it explode across the board. So it's one of the primary things that we're sort of pushing with our customers right now. It's like, okay, of course, it's a simple yes, no mind map type of a situation. Can you sell the art in person? No. Can you sell it via a Zoom session? No. Send them to your website. Like, that's it, right? Like, that's it. That's the way every single solitary person should function, because you're not selling 3,000 pieces a week. Okay. You can afford to have 6 or 7 Zoom calls if it's with a prospective buyer. So, one of the interesting things that we're doing right now from a software standpoint is we're experimenting with, you have a calendar. You log into the calendar on Sunday. You say, here are the available times I'm ready for a chat. You put them on the calendar. There's buttons all over your website. This is not new technology, but we're just integrating all of it. And book a private showing with me, right? You've got that great background going on right now. Now, again, there's some technical limitations, right? Because, if you have to show what you have in the background, the giant original versus like something smaller, like this is a little bit easier on video, right? Like this or this, right? But, that's sort of the joy of merchandising too, right? Like, hey, here's what a canvas gallery wrap looks like. Here's what acrylic looks like. It's ready to hang, and you can do that in the small sizes, and you can say, you can get them of this piece behind me, right? So I don't know what got me going on that rant, but I'm really excited about it because I'm in the software dev of it now. But that's how I would say. Yeah.
One more question
please.
is, I have thought about doing the Zoom once the coronavirus kind of shut down.
No, now, not when the coronavirus starts. Now, yesterday, 30 years ago, right? Like.
But what I was saying is, what can you do, like a almost like an online auction where you can have multiple people participate?
Yes. I don't advocate the online auction format per se. I have some specific reasons for that, because I think it introduces a little bit too much friction into the process. But one of the things, allow me to toot my horn while I toot my horn here, but we figured out this video arbitrage very, very early on. And I always show this example, but it's real and it's visceral, and I can show it to you right now. You grab the pieces that you're going to have a show with, and hold on, let me get my screen share on so I can show this. You grab the pieces that you're going to have the show with. Okay, this is the one I show all the time because he was an early buddy, and I ran how many of these sales with him? 3 of these sales with him, And this guy lives in Canada. He's got a studio in his garage where he does all of his painting. And we just, you know, we know all the tricks of the trade of this. Okay. So I'm just going to show things quickly. Obviously, I have some fancy graphics on the screen here and his logo and everything else, right? You don't necessarily need to do that. You can do that going live on any of the socials. You can do that without any of the socials and just doing Zoom. Okay. So you don't need all this fancy stuff that I have on here. But in his case, he's an artist that's been marketing for a while. I'm press play without the audio. You can see he's got earbuds in his ears, so he's using those to go live on Instagram, and his camera's sitting there. His laptop is filming him going live on his personal Facebook page, his business Facebook page, his YouTube page, all at once. Okay, this guy doesn't even have sleeves on. Okay, he doesn't even have sleeves on. There's no fancy lighting. There's no fancy lighting, right? There's no special camera work going on. And the number, I'm not going to tell you all my tricks, but there's numbers here that help people understand what they are. And in his case, he sold in the middle of the pandemic 62 pieces for a little bit over 30,000 Canadian. Now, granted, this was a very specific type of sale. You see the terminology that says basement sale, right, at the bottom there. So this was like a garage sale of his old pieces that he needed to get rid of, right? This is a guy who's like originals are like, you know, anywhere from $15,000 to $35,000. And so these were discount pieces. And so there's some other reasons. But the larger part is you can do this like right now, right out of the gates. So not only have I run multiple of these sales with him, I've got more of them that I'm running this week because I so firmly believe that this is the future of selling art. Okay.
I want you to do that for me.
Well, this is what we do. This is how I do my subtle, soft sales pitch. Now, let me just show you a final because I can see everyone's watching this. So
yeah,
he lives like in Laval, which is like in Quebec or whatever, and he somehow managed to get a show in the middle of the pandemic. Okay, and so he got a show in the pandemic. He called it the Van Gogh-orama. He's obsessed with Van Gogh, so he painted Van Gogh. So yes, it was masks and all of that, but he got away with it. I don't know how he did it. But guess what we did? They hung the show. He had the dog and pony, the cocktail night. I mean, there was like 6, you know, the capacity of the place is like 100. So he's allowed like 6 people in at a time. Totally weird pandemic situation. But all we did was the exact same thing. The show was hanging in the gallery. And guess what we did after the fact? I mean, especially during the pandemic, regardless if it's during the pandemic, your entire audience can't come to your show. They can't see all your pieces. So we have a simple laptop. He's got the same earbuds again. There's one person holding the laptop, one person holding the Instagram, and he's walking through showing all the pieces of the show. And he sold several of the pieces that did not sell night of the show directly on video that he just shipped, and that was that. Or no, the gallery had to ship it in this point. But it doesn't matter if it's the gallery, you know, or the previous example in his little garage studio, right? Like, oh, this one's weird because he's got some kind of questionable pieces. So I'm not going to get into any more of that. But I believe that's the future of selling art. I believe that is absolutely the future. And, you know, he's a guy that's been grinding on his marketing for a long time. And so I think he has 45,000 fans on Instagram. He's got like 10,000 on YouTube because he does this like painting thing that everybody loves. Anyway, the larger point though is that, and I say this all the time, but I say it as just like how bullish I am on this process, and especially being an artist that works on their marketing. He sold pieces in Canada. He had to ship pieces to the US. He had to ship pieces to Central America, a couple of Europe, and one to Asia, all off of that one sale, right? So the abstraction there is, number one, oh God, don't put me in the shipping department because that sounds like a nightmare, yes. But, you know, true international sales without leaving your house, that makes for an interesting business, right? Doesn't mean it's easy or it's going to happen overnight, but, you know, if you're willing to do the marketing, it's amazing what you can pull off in today's day and age. And guess what? You're keeping all your customer data. There's no 50-50 split, right? Like you're keeping 100% of the money. That's a big deal. So yeah, that's what you got me ranting.
Do you have one-on-one in-person consulting?
Yes. No. Are you kidding me? I would go nuts. I'm losing my mind already. Well, what you do though is like for the customers, it's always one to many, meaning there'll be a Zoom session like this. We'll look at what you're doing. We'll talk about it. You'll ask the question. I'll answer questions. Members of my team will answer questions. We'll get you over the hump, and it's week in, week out. Never ends for the entire time you're a customer.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pauline. And I do like that piece behind you, by the way. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, it's going to go Joseph, then Robert. Joseph, you're up next. Yeah, you're.
Do I need to?
No, you're good. You're unmuted.
Oh, I'm good.
And
The question,
by the way, I wanted to start out just by saying congratulations, because I think you've won the most comfortable looking headphone competition. I don't know what those things look like, what those are, but those headphones look extremely comfortable.
they are.
Yeah, they look great.
Pauline asked one of my questions, which was good.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, if I currently go to a professional photographer, imaging company, to do my photography, and they also do canvases and all that good stuff.
Yep.
The quality is phenomenal.
Yes.
And what I was concerned about is what size JPEGs or TIFF files can you send?
Massive.
Yeah. Okay.
Massive.
So yeah, because that's was one of my concerns, because I've tried to do it with another company in the past, and the quality of the G play that came out was terrible.
Oh yeah, you have zero concerns with the printing, because one, the two companies that we use, again, it's Bay Photo on the West Coast and Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast. They're both massive companies, right? They're doing 30, 40, $50 million a year each in prints. So all the best machines, all the best media types, the best customer service, lower shipping rates, and we have zero complaints about quality at all from just about anybody. Like, period.
Okay.
So you got nothing to worry about there.
That was it.
That was super easy. It was super easy. How have you been selling up to this point, just out of curiosity?
I've probably in the past. Well, I was in 2 galleries in Myrtle Beach, but we just moved and we're in Charlotte, North Carolina now. So I haven't been able to establish anything up here yet.
Yeah.
I do have an art studio I go to for direction, but he's helping me out with different things. He's a local artist, but from a gallery perspective, nothing yet up here. So that's why I was interested in this.
Yeah. And the larger takeaway too, which is so important, is like, yes, it will sound like a sales pitch, but let me just take that off. I don't care where you get the website, and I don't care where you do the marketing. You can't put all of your eggs in one basket, right? If the pandemic's taught us anything, like, you have to have your own list. You have to have your own traffic. You have to have your own ability to sell if we go into another lockdown 5 years from now, right? Like, you need to own some attention that you control the rules. And the biggest problem with the gallery model is the bread and butter of an art business are collectors. A collector, Weiland defines as someone that buys in upwards of 7 to 8 pieces a lifetime from the artist, right? And they're on board. They love you. Your prices keep going up year after year, and they just come along for the ride. And I've been doing this long enough now, even with some customers, that like it can end up being in any given year like 15 to 20% of your bottom line, right? And you're not getting the collectors' names when you're selling at the gallery. These people love your art. They fall in love with it. You have no idea who they are because the gallery owns them. So my point is, like, yeah, I love where you live. I know what the foot traffic is like in that place in the summer, right? There are going to be so many opportunities to sell outside in that place. It's like going to be ridiculous. The galleries are cracking and everything else. Fine, but you need to do it in addition to, not in lieu of, building your own list, building your own attention, and having the ability to do some marketing on your own, right? So that's sort of my thesis.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Congrats on the move too, by the way. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country for sure. Okay, Robert, you're up next. So I get you unmuted. Go ahead, Robert. Robert Duvall, are you there? Oh yeah, I see. There we go. You're right in front. Hey, how's it going?
Okay. How do you build a list?
Yeah, so marketing, right? And I can sort of go into the details across the board. But one, we have some marketing techniques and tactics that we don't publish because they're kind of hacky and ephemeral, and they'll work for now and they won't go away. We do some really creative things with print giveaways that help generate lists and get that going on. Prior to the pandemic, we were very good at teaching you how to leverage the offline opportunities that you do. We teach you to market on Facebook and Instagram. No, not everybody likes Facebook and Instagram, but you have to be contrarian about it. They're the ones that have all the attention, so you need to market there regularly. You need to get better at capturing emails for the traffic, the attention that you do have coming to your website, which even if it's small, you have to have the proper lead capture in place. You have to be asking for emails, and you just start in hammering all those levers early on follow the various techniques and tactics that we deploy, that we teach you, that we ask that you engage in. Every artist, photographer comes to the table with some unique circumstances to them. They have some big show a year, or they live somewhere where they can get outside a lot, or whatever the case may be. We teach you to better leverage those to continually capture email addresses, and it gets easier as time goes on. You get likes, you get comments, you get shares. Once you get past a certain sales threshold where we feel confident that any investment that you might make in Facebook and Instagram ads would see an ROI, then you immediately start in on those.
So basically, if someone was starting out, even though they've been an artist for many years and they have virtually no presence internet-wise,
yes,
the first step is basically going to establish an email list.
Yes, 100%. Like you can, within reason, right? Like, it's so funny because I always wonder if somebody's going to come on one of these things and like call me out about some advice that I'm giving. It never ends up happening, right? Which just tells them the whole thing. But my job is to be a doctor, right? And I'm a general practitioner. Like, let me give you for instance. I have a dog that is the most allergic dog in the history of mankind, okay? I took him to my normal vet. My vet tried everything imaginable. Finally, they're like, look, we're done. We did everything that we could for you. You have to go see the dermatologist, the specialist, right? So I'm a general practitioner, right? I can judge the size of just about any art business with exceptions based on the size of the email list. Full stop. Yes, some of the other social media sites come into effect, but sadly, in today's day and age, the currency of the land is attention, okay? With attention, you can do anything. Attention comes in two forms, owned and rented. Owned attention, phone numbers, snail mail addresses, email addresses, right? Rented attention, social followers, Facebook, social followers, Instagram, social followers, YouTube, and email is still the best. It's still the best, right? So yes, the size of your email list is significantly important. Okay. And sadly, you're like, I am at the top of my craft. I've been doing this for 30 years. Like, the last thing you're telling me to go get in the trenches again. Do you know how long it's been since I've been in the trenches? Sadly, Robert, the internet don't care, right? The world that we live in, the internet doesn't care that you're a long-term established artist, that you're awesome at what you do. You have to start in like everyone else and start building your list. And I know how insanely frustrating that is. It's like, even me, like trying to start something from scratch, and I'm 40, maybe you're close in age to me. It's like, what are you talking about? I have kids and a life and a wife and everything, like an allergic dog. Last thing I want to do is just get started on anything right now, but you kind of have to. There's no other option. Like, where else do you go? What else do you do, right? Like, sit around and wait for the galleries of the shows to come back? Like, how is that a strategy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been much into getting to galleries. Shows out here in California, if you do any kind of a street show, is very expensive.
Yeah.
And you have to you better make your space rent the first day.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble.
Yes.
So yeah, I've never been into that kind of stuff.
Let alone loading up the car, 8 hours on your feet.
Yeah,
maybe you're in a hotel, you're eating crappy food. Like, you come back, you're not doing anything again until Tuesday. Where in California do you live?
Here in the Bay Area, San Francisco area.
Nice.
So, places like Sausalito.
Yep.
I mean, there's some really good shows.
Yeah, amazing shows.
In the Bay Area, but they're extremely expensive to get into now.
Yep.
And then, like I say, you better hope you make some sales because you got the space rent, booth rent at the end of the.
But let me give you.
Let
me give you the Thorn instance. And so you're an artist selling, let's just say, primarily originals and prints. I explained to you that we are going to help you figure out how to get a little bit more ROI out of a show. So here's the guide that I want you to follow, Robert, every single solitary time you do a show from now going forward. Earlier, I alluded to this. Every artist has sort of their unique thing that's unique to them, right? So you have these great shows in California. So what you haven't been doing all the years you've been going to these shows is gathering emails in any significant fashion, right? Okay, that sucks. Don't do that anymore. Let's figure out a plan, right? And so I'm going to get a giant fishbowl out in front of your booth. I'm going to get a piece of merch and or a small print, and I'm going to say print giveaway this weekend only. Put your business card, put your name on the clipboard. Some people like to use an iPad, whatever you like to leave. And then I will announce the winner at the end of the show, right? Or I'll announce the winner on Monday, ship the print to you. What will happen is at a good show, a really good show, amazing foot traffic, you can drop, depending on your work, You know, you could drop 100, 200, 300 emails to your list in a single solitary weekend, an average show 50 to 75. The show ends. You put all of those emails into a list. You send them all an email. Thank you so much for the interest in my show. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to announce the winner. You announce the winner. That lucky person gets a print. You're into the print, maybe 40 or 50 bucks, maybe $20 on the shipping. So you're now into this whole process, 70 bucks. For everyone else, it breaks my heart that there had to be one winner, but I just want to let you know, from now until Wednesday, the show ended on Sunday, you're announcing on Monday. From now until Wednesday, I'll give you 25% off anything on my store. If it's commissions or originals, book a one-on-one Zoom session with me, Pauline. Did you hear that? Book a one-on-one Zoom session, right? So what happens if you would have been doing that for years and years and years, the last 5-6 years of your career going to those shows? You would have had an email list with 10,000 people on it, right? You would add a whole bunch of people that almost wanted print. The FOMO's driving them nuts, and they would have left the booth because they got busy or their wife wanted a Coke or their feet were tired, and now you're hitting with this offer after the fact, right? So it's just marketing. When I always say it's just marketing, it's just marketing. All of you guys suck at it. I already know this conclusively because all of my customers do too, and it's just a process. You have to learn and get a little bit better at it, right? So that's the ball game. And again, I talk to so many guys like you, right? And I put myself in your shoes. Like, if I was at the top of my game and I was playing under this one set of rules, and all of a sudden the rules have been changed, and you're telling me like I have to go restart the game, and it's like, no, I don't want to do that, right? But you're going to have to grind it out for a little bit, and you'll be so glad that you did, because look, you know, I'm not kidding. Once or twice a month, I get an artist that's 80, sometimes 90 plus coming onto these calls. And they figure out how to do the Zoom, and they're asking me, and I sit there and I look at that and I'm like, you guys don't go through midlife crises like the rest of us, right? You're not changing from an artist or a creative. You're that for life. And so you look at that and it's like, no matter what age you are now, you likely have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of potential future sales for this. So ask me whether or not it's worth it grinding that out. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. So say you're going to have a couple, 2-3 years of difficult marketing. I don't care. You got 20 years, 30 years, and right? And like, if the work is somewhat timeless, you know, is not super ephemeral, kitschy, pop culture driven, then you might even have an asset to pass off at the end of it, right? Especially if you get the print aspect of the business going. So I think it's worth it. I know it's like, you know, a little bit of tough love. Like, I'm going to learn marketing and sending an email and posting on Facebook, you know, annoying. I find this. I don't want to put on Facebook what I had for lunch. I don't either. And I want to know what you had for lunch, quite frankly. But you have to learn to market in the landscape that we're in. So this is why it's like so hard to explain what we do. Like, yes, we have websites. No, none of you have a damn website problem. You all have a marketing problem. So what are we really? We're a marketing education firm, right? We offer a BA in how to grow a successful art business. That's what we do. There's no one. There were none of those classes in college, or every one of you would have taken them, right? Like how to grow a successful art business, how to contemplate pricing, how to contemplate scarcity and discounts. Like where the hell was that? And even if it was in college, it all would have had to have changed again, aside from the fundamentals, because the damn marketing goalposts move so quickly. So that's what we do.
Well, I have one last question.
Go.
How much input from a design standpoint do I have in terms of developing a website through you guys?
The same that you would have with a great many others. So near 100%, especially if you want to do like, you know, a little bit of CSS and everything else. How much time would I recommend that you spend on it? Zero. 14 days or less. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. You know what the websites look like? They look like online art galleries. What do art galleries look like? White walls, right? White walls, beautiful artwork, nothing else. You don't need to spend any time on design. I don't want you to spend any time on design. I want your pieces up. I want your logo. I want your about me statement. I want you to get it done in 14 days or less. And then I want you to get into the marketing. You don't have a website problem. You don't have a design problem. Nobody's coming and saying, Robert, I do not like the design of your website. I'm not buying your art. No one's coming, period. We need to fix a bigger problem, right? Like, you know, the rationale is like your boat is sitting on the shore, okay? And it's on little rails and we could push it down into the water. We need to get the boat floating. After the boat is floating, then you can worry about the curtains, okay? Inside the galley, right? And repaint the deck and everything else. But let's get the damn boat floating first, right? So you have a ton of control. I don't want you to spend even 2 seconds on it at all. Marketing problem, not design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can see I get fired up about these things. We're not dictators. Like you can definitely do what you want to do, but I will if you, especially if you become a customer, I will yell at you in that tone from time to time. Pete, you're up. Go. I'll let you know when you get the unmute mic. Yep, you got it. Oh, maybe you have the wrong mic selected. Ooh, it's going all feedback wonky. So, yeah, you might need to do a restart. If you can play around with it, I'll leave you on unmute if I hear you. But otherwise, I would just restart the whole Zoom session. That usually fixes it. Okay, I'm scrolling up to questions. More intro. John Wilson, no marketing at this time. Need more info on your company and services. What does that mean? No marketing at this time, John. I don't know what that means. I'm going to try and find you, John, and unmute you. Where is John? Maybe John's left. I don't know. I got to do my little type thing. Is it Giftis John? John Wilson. No, he's gone. Okay, John, I don't know what you mean, but sorry. Tell me how you are really involved in actual marketing. Okay, Holly, I'm going to unmute you too. Holly, will you hit your mic icon? I don't totally understand this question. Might as well unmute you. Are you there, Holly?
Yes.
Yes, got you. Okay, so what are you asking exactly with the marketing? I'm curious.
Yes. How much are you involved in the start of the process of the marketing? Because I need to know how much time I'm going to have to be investing, per week and so forth. So how are you going to help us, get that started?
Yeah, so we teach 100% of it. That's number one, right? And yes, we have the do-it-yourself guides that walk you through how to do everything step by step. Yes, we have weekly Zoom sessions like this where you come on, you look and see what we're teaching. You ask questions in the same fashion you're asking questions here. Yes, we have a calendar that tells you what to do this week, this day, next week, when to run a sale, where to get all of that stuff. And then, yes, you have Zoom sessions that you can get into 6 days a week to get support. And that's just the norm all the way through. In terms of how many hours, it's a complete mixed bag from artist to artist, from photographer to photographer. I would say, there's this thing called Pareto's Law, like the 80-20. There's always an 80-20. 20% of our customers, full-time artists. 80% have full-time jobs, and they're looking to build something that they can retire on or, eventually spend more time on doing. And the hours are completely vary based on whoever the person is, right? And whatever opportunities they have on the ground. What I say is that it's less about how many hours you can give me and more about you giving them to me consistently for 52 weeks a year, which no one ever does, right? So you have 2 hours a week, great. Give me that for 52 weeks and let's see where we are then, right? Like that's the only thing that gets anything done. So you end up putting in as much as you can in terms of your marketing. You do so consistently, that's how you win.
Okay.
Yeah. Any others? So I got you on mute? Yep, I think she already muted again. All right, Pete, I'm going to try you again in 1 sec. First, I'm going to answer Rusty's question. Do we need to integrate your website into our personal website or vice versa? Are these two mutually exclusive? Okay, I'm sorry, I had to mute. Rusty, let me do this because there's like a multiple part answer on this that I want to give you. I'm going to unmute Pete first, and then I'll come back to you, Rusty. All right, let's see round two.
Hi, can you hear me this time?
Shh.
All right, I had a docking station, my ear pods, and I'm trying to use Camtasia.
I'm telling you, it's the restart. When in doubt, 99% of the time, just restart, right?
I did. I had too many options.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've been watching you guys for a while. So I'm in about the second or third month of doing due diligence and research, during a business plan, and this is my first time actually interacting with you guys. And I think it's time to really put it out there and ask a couple quick questions. So. I like your platform. I'm going to give you I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'm going to give you a brief background of how I found you. I did IT for a little while. It's IT support. I live on an island. I live on Nantucket Island off Cape Cod.
Yep.
A lot of art here. This was an artist colony 100 years ago, actually, and it still kind of is.
Yeah.
I'm a musician here. I've been here about 15 years. So between doing computers, playing music, being around everybody, and kind of we live here, raising a family here, I kind of know everybody now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in a great spot of where I live, very happy where we are. And given the pandemic, a lot of people have moved here. It's just a kind of a very vibrant situation.
Yes.
Also, it's kind of a literal moat around here. It's very hard to move here and
yes,
do anything, right?
Yeah, well aware.
So I found you guys because I was doing corporate IT. I was doing IT for myself for about 10 years, consulting. I found you because I'm switching over to digital marketing. So I'm actually going to have a fulfillment partner. I'm going to do some digital marketing for smaller businesses and for trades out here.
Yep.
And as I was looking around for art galleries, like trying to find a template for how art galleries as a retail store, which are kind of in trouble or they're more challenged right now.
Yeah.
I want to find out some other company that, without reinventing the wheel, had a way to do marketing. And that's how I stumbled across you guys.
Okay.
I love that you guys have the marketing university. And the more I looked at it, the more the gears started turning of how I could use this, not just as a marketing platform to, do for my digital media company, more as how I could do this as a gallery.
Yes.
So I have a idea, and really the question is going to be, which I kind of already know the answer, and I wanted to get your take on, is if art storefronts is going to be a good application for this concept. So the idea is I really like to start in a gallery, an online gallery that does landscape photography. I love your platform in terms of the augmented reality and the software is great. There's nobody else that does something like that here, or for that matter, on Martha's Vineyard, or on Cape Cod, or in Palm Beach, really, and a couple other places that I'm around. My wife's family had an antique store in Palm Beach. So the thought was, starting where I live, I could almost combine a couple ideas. And this is, by doing it online, you have the basic landscape photography. I could aggregate a lot of the photographers that are already out here, and also some of the photographers that don't just do true landscape photography. There's a lot of wedding photographers. There's 50 or 60. I have a spreadsheets of people that I like to work with. And the thought was, I could create one spot where, say, like you're a wedding photographer, you had 10 photos weren't doing anything with. You could actually create searchable files where each one of those photos would be, this is on this part of the island, that part of the island. Half the tags would be emotional, the other half would be like geographical or light-based or sunset or sunrise. You could have, using your technology, you could really create a awesome platform for creating your own, finding the exact kind of photo you want as the customer.
Yeah.
Another thing, what I wanted to add into that I think is unique, it's kind of like giving the whole model here, but the idea would be having this as a side project to my digital media, and I'm going in the same direction. Since I'm doing that, I'm already going to have a platform, and I'm learning as I go because I'm coming from IT and from different things. This is going to be a work in progress. It doesn't have to be gangbusters out of the gate, but it's going parallel with what I want to do. And the marketing aspect that you guys push is really the main thing. If you don't do the marketing, you can't just like smile and dial to sell art, No,
you definitely can't. You definitely can't. I'm more of a Edgar Town guy myself, but that's only because I've been to Martha's once. But I had a great time. I love that part of the world, especially in the summer.
It's awesome.
There's a lot to unpack in that thing, which is interesting. So you kind of want to be your own gallery for the island, online to start, maybe some contemplation of retail later, and then you're going to be doing a bunch of marketing for small businesses, a lot of which are going to end up being art galleries because that's all over the island, right?
but I want to keep that separate. That's really how I found you guys. That's just the background. That's who I am. That's how I found you. Now that I found you, this is sort of almost something that I could do on the side that could eventually be the main thing.
Yeah.
But the really key here about the part that I'm wondering if this will work is I want to add a social entrepreneurship element into it, because the entire social scene where I live revolves around nonprofits and events, and there are 200 nonprofits here. Everything's based around charity.
That's because there's entirely too many people with too much money on that island. But let's be honest.
That's exactly my point.
First world problems. Yeah, you're overthinking a lot of the things because it's early on, and that's the way the creative brain works. You I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. What you need is viable business, right? So we got to get a viable business going in all of this. There's some things that I love about it. People buy art large, largely based on an emotional connection. You know, prior to the pandemic, you've got thousands of people, thousands and thousands, probably hundreds of thousands, who knows how many in a season, coming to Nantucket and becoming extremely bonded with that subject material. And so if you were good at delivering attention, would it be very easy for you to unionize all of the artists, all the photographers that are on that island, all sell through you? Yeah, of course it would, right? Everybody's just looking for attention, right? So it just comes back to the digital marketing thesis, right? Like, you need to get good at it. So if you signed up, what would end up happening is you would learn all the marketing. You would moonlight and work on your website. You would take all the marketing that we would teach you, and you would go earn instantaneous revenue by just deploying all the exact same techniques and tactics shoehorned for all the local businesses. That would give you more reps and sets, okay, as a marketer. You would get significantly better, which you would just pour back into the other business, and there you go. You know, at the end of the day, like, it's funny. It's really hard to make it as an artist or photographer. You guys all know this. You want to know a great way to solve for this? As many revenue sources as possible, like I said in my original demo, right? Like, so instantaneously, I hear what you're saying, and it's like, okay, you're a known and trusted entity on an island where people they're very pro islanders, let's just say. So I've heard, and you can get through all those gatekeepers, probably go and get yourself multiple good paying clients right out of the gates, do the digital marketing for them. That's a revenue source that's going to keep you sustained, right? Whilst we can slow cook the other one and pour all the money back into it. I love that. But in terms of revenue sources, again, it's like, you have to have price points in your store from low end to high end. A lot of people break those rules. Yes, you need to have prints, okay? Not everybody wants an original. Not everybody wants a commission. Some people actually want prints. The merch is a great idea. Guess what? Every museum you've ever been into has a gift shop, right? But they're all revenue opportunities. Like, we encourage our customers significantly. Are you teaching people to paint? Are you doing that on moonlighting in a college or having little classes? Like, what happens when you turn that into a business where you're teaching people to paint across the island, right? Like, what happens if Pete on his website has 6 or 7 guys that know this island so forward and backwards, and there's a bunch of photographers that don't want to know where all the great spots are. They want someone to take them to all the great spots, and so he sells that on the website. The larger point is, I don't care what it is. I want you to have viable revenue sources because I want you to have a successful business, right? So if you came aboard, that's what I would see you doing. You would end up taking all the marketing stuff that we would teach you, which we're very good at, and you would instantaneously start applying it because, again, it's just getting attention. You have to know how to get attention. Attention is the commodity. I'm sick to my stomach every time I say this, but do you know who some of the most powerful people in the United States are right now? The Kardashians. You want to know why? Because any one of those girls, surgically altered or otherwise, could decide to start painting tomorrow and sell $85 million worth of art in the first year, even if it was stick figures, because they have 10 million people that would see every single solitary painting. So we live...
So attention is the new currency. I definitely think I would be able to do that marketing part
100%. 100%. Attention is the new currency.
I would like to throw one more thing into that mix, though, because, like I said, the nonprofits are out there. One of the things I thought would be a great driver would be if I go to, say, a conservation foundation. This is kind of a model that's already worked. Say, instead of doing discounts on because they're not really price sensitive, instead of doing discounts, you could say, okay, what if I go to this foundation, say, if we send out your list, you have an email list, you have 1,000, 2,000 people that are the top 1% of people in the country. What if 15% of the retail goes to your, you send out a list to your people, 15 or to 25%, which is really pushing the margins. But if you could do that like once in a while, instead of doing a discount on the product,
Pete,
you can have that money.
Trust me, we teach this too. What you're asking me, and I promise I'm not being disrespectful or anything else. What you're saying is like, Patrick, what if I made this dish and I had a little extra salt and a little extra lemon juice and I put it in the oven for 425 for 15 minutes and then I served it? Would that work? Or do you have a better way to do it? Yeah, I have a good way to do it. Make the dish and serve it. You're not going to know what you don't know. Okay, we use this mentality that says just ship it, right? Like, you're overthinking it. I see the way your mind works. And by the way, I've done this my entire life, so I get it, right? Like, you need to make the meal, put it in front of someone, and see if they eat it. If they eat it, you're on the right track. If not, why did you not like about that, Pete? And then adjust it to taste, right? Like, don't worry about these individual techniques. You just need to start shipping, right? You just need to start shipping. Like, everyone, all of my customers with the live art shows are like, well, what camera do I need to get? And what phone do I need to get? And what headphones and what lighting? No. Cell phone, turn it on and ship it. And by the way, you're going to be running thousands of them, okay? Thousands of them. And oh, by the way, since the pandemic, I've been running 5 to 6 of these things a week myself because I think it's the future, right? Like, you just have to ship it and you have to get the things in the water and stop overthinking it, stop talking about it and ship it straight up. Well, we'll teach you to market.
Okay, so that was the main thing. Is you think
Yeah.
I haven't seen many people on your Zoom meetings that are gallery owners, and mostly they're photographers and artists. I'm a musician, so I'm on a different side of it.
Yep.
But that's why really the question. I think the research I've done and the numbers that I've run seem to show that this would work for what I'm doing. If I get a certain amount of scale, I could scale it to Faraway Island Gallery. I could scale it to
100%. Yeah, 100%. You just need to learn. You need to learn a new a new language, right? And like it's like, okay, I'm going to teach you Japanese, and what you're saying to me is like, well, I want to speak some Japanese in the music hall here, and I want to speak some Japanese on the other island, and I want to speak some Japanese here at home in a couple of different ways. And what I'm saying is, Pete, it's all just Japanese. It's all just Japanese. You just need to learn to speak Japanese, and we're good at that. We'll teach you. That's it.
All right, do it and ship.
Yeah, do it and ship it. Just ship it.
Do it.
Yeah, it's such a great mentality, right? Because all we do is overthink things, and then the days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. And what has anyone done? Nothing, right? Like, ship it, get in the water. That's why I was yelling at Robert about his website. Like, no, Robert, you don't get to design your website. We turn it on today. We get it to start taking credit card, and we start marketing, right? We ship it. Like, it's not final. You know, you have the ability to change anything at any point in time. Okay, Richard's asking me variations of questions on pricing. I can do that. Rusty, I said I would get you, so I'm going to get you next. And then, Richard, I promise I will address your questions. And I know I talk fast. I can't help it. You know, I've got like second grade report cards. It says like he needs to slow down. No one's been able to slow me down. That's my cross to bear. But Rusty, are you still there? Can you unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. So Rusty's asking a variation on like the website thing because he's got his own website currently, and he's like, well, do I have one or do I run two or what do I do? So first, tell me, Rusty, what kind of website you have? Just get me up to speed on that.
Well, it's a painting website, and it's got for sale through SmugMug paintings and prints. Okay. But as you know, that has nothing to do with success in marketing.
No, that's for sure. So, okay. So here's the thing. One, we are as laissez-faire as they come. So you have every option imaginable to you, right? You could sign up and potentially just use the marketing services, not use the website at all. You could keep your same website, rustychildress.com, and you could put the art storefront site on store.rustychildress.com. What I always ask is, one, do you own the domain for the store? That's number one. Two, the current site you have, is it generating any income? If no, you get rid of it and you point to the art storefront site. If yes, or if you are booking clients in some other capacity, then I don't want you to touch the website, right? Like if it's bringing you revenue, I don't want you to touch it. If it's not, then you just redirect it to the art storefront site. As a backup, you could still pay for the SmugMug site, and you don't have to get rid of it because you have whatever this URL to that site is. If you own the URL, you're just pointing your URL at the website that they have for you, which is rustychildress.smugmug.com. So you could even still pay for it and not lose it. So you're not affected by that. But if selling art is a priority, if you don't have the revenue going on, yes, I would recommend you just redirect to the art storefront site and get going that way.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I find your Northern Lights background very calming today. But yeah, that's what I would do. Our websites have more bells and whistles and like hundreds of different things that we don't even usually talk about, which is why we do the demo process, by the way, because what happens when you request a demo? Someone from our outreach team calls you. It's like a 10 to 15 minute call. They'll explain all the various aspects of pricing and everything else. I don't know all the details. I would screw it up. They're constantly changing things anyway. So then if it all works, they think you'd be a good fit, you like what you're hearing, then they schedule the whole demo. The demo takes an hour on Zoom to go through all the bells, all the whistles, all the features, all the everything. So that's what the demo process looks like. And don't worry, we are not sharky salespeople here. They will not call you. The only thing that we do too much of is the emailing. And sadly, I have to take personal responsibility for that. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't effective. But we don't harass.
Is Fine Art America a competitor to you or not?
No, not at all. Like, that's Fine Art America's. Let's just go back to the retail example. Fine Art America is an art gallery, right? Like a retail art gallery in your town. We are Rusty Childress selling direct to, customers, right? Like you own everything. You own the website. You know, you own all the images, you keep all the customer data, you're responsible for the marketing, which we teach you how to do, but you own everything, right? Fine Art America, it's upload the stuff, hope and pray. You do not keep your customer data, and it's not a knock on Fine Art America, by the way. I mean, one thing that we're consistent about is like anyone that comes in, like I'm on Fine Art America, is it generating you any sort of revenue that you're happy with? Yes or no? If the answer is no, pull your stuff off immediately, because what ends up happening is, because Fine Art America has been around for so long, because they're really, really good at SEO, search engine optimization, they got to the party soon. If you, Rusty, go on to Fine Art America and you're Rusty Childress Art, right? If I type your name in a search engine, after 6 months, what's going to end up coming up is your Fine Art America account. Number 1, maybe even number 2, and then number 3 will be your website, right? They're really good at that. That's just one of those downsides to it. So that's number 1. Number 2, because it's easy, right? So lots of people do it. If everyone's doing something, how good does it usually work? Not very good, right? There's very few people that make anything approaching a decent income from Fine Art America. That's just fact and truth. So if you are one of the ones that are, awesome, stay there, but continue to build your own business. If not, kill it immediately, start working on your own, right? Because it's not providing any income anyway. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So yeah. Thanks, Rusty. Good questions. Okay, let me see if, got to get your full name here so I don't hack it. It is Richard. Okay, Richard, trying to find you. Richard got me with it. You're talking 2000. I'm feeling guilty about it. Oh, maybe he bounced it because it's Richard Hebhard. I don't think he's here anymore. All right, well, sorry, Richard. I know, talk fast, not much I can do. Let me scroll up. Were there other questions? Donna says, I've checked on the cost of digitizing paint with the local hire and reproduction. It seemed prohibitive. Any suggestions? Yeah, I would, if you want the highest quality, Donna, I would just suggest that you can just buy, depending on how many pieces you have, you either hire someone to do it that comes to the house and just shoots them all in a day. The quality will be fine. You don't need like the drum skit. Another interesting way that I would contemplate doing it, but again, crazy marketing guy, is use your cell phone. Put them all up, wait till they sell. After one sells, get the order, call the person up, be like, hey, would you mind waiting a couple of weeks until I ship this order? Because I was just about to get the thing rescanned by a high-end reproduction house, and I'll give you 10% off. Then run out and go spend the money, get it professionally scanned, and ship the order, right? Because get the order first is a way to think about it. But that's I'm crazy marketing guy, so I do that. Meredith's asking, how do you feel about posting commission prices on your website, being obscure about it? Anytime you're asking yourself this type of question, what people normally do, Meredith, is they dwell on it and they stew on it and they say, should I do it or should I not do it? Let me give you a framework that I really like, and I'll unmute you too, Meredith, in case you have a follow-up question. Here's the framework. Ask yourself the question, is this a reversible decision? Is it an easily reversible decision, i.e., if I make this decision and it ends up being a really bad idea, can I easily reverse it? If the answer to that is yes, then do not stress about it at all. Put your finger in the wind. Say, I'm going to list them. Then list them. Then I have kids too. What's up, dude? I've got kids too. Chaos pit. I get it. But you're not allowed to drive. You're not allowed to drive on the Zoom, Meredith. No driving while on the Zoom.
Oh, I'm not driving. I'm parked.
I know. Okay. Is it a reversible decision? In your case, yes, 100%, meaning you could put the prices on commission on your website and then see how it goes, see if you get any orders. If not, take it down 2 weeks later. Hi, guys. Hi.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yes,
yeah.
Don't stress about it.
I've actually never put it on my website before, and I've been doing it for 10 plus years. But I've been debating it because I'm just kind of done like constantly writing the same email or having to tweak the basic email that I always have. So, but that's great advice. Thank you.
Easily reversible, like you can do it. We literally run our entire business that way. Like, is it reversible? I can tie it together now. Is it a reversible decision? Yes or no? If it is, make it immediately and just ship it, right? You'll be surprised. Like, you don't know what you don't know. Like, you could have a commission problem. What happens a lot of times in this is like you do it and nothing changes at all. And you're like, okay, that wasn't a lever then. It didn't matter at all, right? And you're on to the next thing and you're not stressing about it. Instead, how long have you been thinking about doing this and stressing about it? Be honest.
Right, too long. Oh, too long. I mean, probably since I've been doing commissions.
See, so. I'm taking that burden off of your shoulders, Meredith. You've got enough with 2 kiddos. How old are they, by the way? Mine are 3 and 5. Both boys.
Oh, very close. 6. She's 6.
You're not 6. Are you really 6? Oh,
She's 6.
and
Yeah.
you're 3. And you're 3.
And Mike is 4.
Okay, and you just turned 4.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was wonderful advice. Perfect.
Yeah. My pleasure. Okay, you can drive again. You can drive again. Okay, let me. It's crazy. I always love that when there's like the driving one, because it's just what a phenomenal thing about a Zoom is it like it transports all of us to all of our own like little individual worlds. Yeah, which is just amazing. Okay, any question? Any follow up? Or are you good?
No, I think that's pretty good for now. Thank you.
Okay, good. Thanks, Meredith. Okay, I see there's new in the chat. Holly, do you suggest investing in a camera to take quality photos of my artwork? And if I create a website through you, do the sales become automated on the prints? Yes, 100% automated on the sales, meaning you get an order, printer, you get an order, credit card transaction comes in, you get paid, printer gets paid, printer gets order, printer ships order, slaps your logo on the side of the box, off it goes, you touch nothing. Why? Because worrying about shipping prints does not grow your business. Only marketing does. So we try to take all that type of stuff off your hands. Let me see what else. That was Meredith. Donna, I think I got you. Yeah, the number one thing to do is literally not get hung up on what everyone does is like, oh, I will get started when I just get all my work photographed. And again, the days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. How's that website coming? How's that marketing coming? Well, I'll just get my work photographed. Like, no, do not get it photographed. Shoot it all with your cell phone, right? Ask a friend to come over and take photos of it. Put it all up, go and get a sale, and then decide whether or not you need to get it professionally photographed. That freaks people out, though. No one ever takes my advice on that one. What else? Yeah, I think, is that it? Did I cover all of it? I think I did. I think the rest of the people bailed out. Any finals for you guys that are on camera? You can raise a hand. I can see. No? No Dorothy? No Michael? Michael's going no. Joan? Jason? Bernie? Bernie's like, wait, maybe do I have a question? And then I'll look in the chat. You just raise your hand or throw it if you want me to unmute you guys, I will. All right, Bernie's game. I like it, Bernie.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little late to the party and I just jumped in maybe 20 minutes ago.
No, all good.
Not really sure what you covered in the beginning half of this.
Yeah, go ahead. It's all good.
But yeah, so it's just interested to learn more about your platform and going to jump in on Fridays as well.
Yeah. So there's like a video that we played up front that like covers all the like who you are and what you do kind of stuff. So I'll email that to you after the fact, and I would say you can watch that or you can come back on Friday and ask. As a final, how did you enjoy semester at sea? My brother went on that. He loved it.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a transformative experience. One of the best things I ever did in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to get that many countries in that conveniently. Semester at sea is like where you literally do a college semester on a boat, and they go to like a bunch of different ports, and you take classes on the boat. And the drinking thing's a little bit frowned upon, but it's sort of college, and so everyone kind of. I mean, yeah, there's some interesting stories.
550 college students on a ship that sails around the world. While you take classes, there's professors from Yale, from UMass, from some school in Germany, all over the place.
Yeah,
and it was a formative experience.
Yeah, amazing experience. Okay, so you don't know what you don't know. You kind of need to figure out everything that we do. So
yeah, so it just I look forward to doing that. But marketing is the aspect that I find most difficult. Not creating the work, not selling the work. It's just how to grow the audience. Thing that
everyone that's been on the call the whole time is laughing because all I've been doing for 2 hours is ranting on marketing. It's all I rant on, period, because it's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, I mean, you can market anything, but getting good at it's the hard part.
Yes, reps and sets, like anything else. Okay, you come back on Friday, Bernie. I'll hold you up in the queue. Question number 1. But the rest of you guys, thank you so much. I thought that was a really fun session. Good times. We'll send a replay after the fact, that has the video. If you want to rewatch the video, any of the links to the things that we mentioned, all that, there'll be links to the sale and all that jazz in there. If you want to talk to the outreach team to get all the specifics on price and this and that and packages, they're the only ones that know all the details. So that's why we do the demo thing. I know for some people that's a little bit of a pain in the butt, but if you got on a Zoom call and you have questions, they'll tell you all the details, and then you can say, don't ever call me again, and they'll never call you again. Just kind of our process. But yeah, really good session. Really enjoyed it. Great questions today. So thank you guys. And we're running 3 days a week, like Bernie was saying. So you feel like have questions, thought about something after the fact, feel free to to come back.